read by the prosecutor? Are you ready to go on and go forward?
I'm ready to go on and go forward.
Okay. So, Ms. Trevino, do you want to call your witness, please?
Yes, sir. The state calls Officer Mark Bettis.
Officer Pettis, raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, and are you a certified peace officer?
Yes, I am.
And state your full name, please.
Mark Anthony Pettis.
And how long, Mr. Pettis, have you been employed, or how long have you been a peace officer?
Been a peace officer approximately 11 and a half years.
And how long have you been employed by the city of Live Oak?
For a year.
For a year. Mr. Trevino, he's your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Pettis, were you on duty on November 2nd of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what were your duties on that date?
Assigned to Patrol Division on patrol.
Okay. Did you encounter an individual by the name of Truman Harold Wheeler?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We do not have a video screen of Mr. Wheeler. But he has identified himself as being the defendant verbally.
Okay, Mr. Wheeler, do you acknowledge that you were the person stopped by Officer Perez on November 2nd?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Trevino?
Thank you, Judge. And where did you encounter Mr. Wheeler at?
On Forest Bluff.
And is that location a public street within the city limits of the city of Lightning?
Yes, sir.
Was Mr. Wheeler driving and operating a motor vehicle at the time that you encountered him?
Yes, he was.
Do you have any recall as to the type of vehicle that he was driving?
Blue in color, four-door sedan. Hyundai.
Okay, was a regular passenger vehicle,
Yes, it was.
and that vehicle was not an authorized emergency vehicle.
No, it was.
All right. What first brought your attention to this particular defendant?
So the vehicle was traveling southbound on Forest Bluff, which is, in other words, from Wine towards O'Connor. I was traveling northbound on Forest Bluff, which was from O'Connor towards Wine. And then I observed the vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed as it was approaching me.
Okay, so you did a visual estimation of that speed, and then what did you do to confirm the speed?
Utilize my unit radar.
And have you operated radar before?
Yes, ma'am.
And the radar that you were using, is that the standard radar issued to Live Oak Police Department?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Was the radar unit operating accurately at the time of the incident?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And how is it that you can confirm that the radar was operating accurately?
I was tuned for shift using utilizing tuning forks.
Okay. And you conducted that test beforehand?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you utilized your radar, what was the defendant's speed?
34 miles per hour.
Were there any other vehicles in the area that you could have mistaken for the defendant?
No, there was not.
Was there anything in the area that would have interfered with your radar?
No,
Or
ma'am.
operating the radar? Did you ever lose sight of the defendant's vehicle as you clocked him?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and then once you confirmed that the speed was 34 miles an hour, what action did you take?
I conducted a U-turn, activated my emergency red and blue lights. At that time, Mr. Wheeler took a left turn onto Forest Pass. I followed right behind him, and he made a complete stop.
When you approached Mr. Wheeler, did he say anything in particular to you?
That I can recall, no, nothing out of the ordinary.
All right. Did he indicate that perhaps he had a medical emergency or some other type of emergency going on?
I cannot recall that.
Was there any conditions of the stop that you are now aware of that would justify the defendant exceeding the speed limit?
No.
Okay, officer, based on your training and experience and observation of the conditions and such on that day, was the defendant operating at a reasonable and prudent speed under the circumstances?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you feel that he was? I mean, that 34 was reasonable and prudent, given that the speed limit there is
Oh, I'm
20.
sorry. It's because it keeps cutting off. I'm sorry. No, it was not. I apologize.
And what official actions did you take after your encounter with the defendant?
Ran an inquiry on his driver's license, license plate and insurance. Everything came back clear. At that point, Mr. Wheeler was issued a citation.
Okay. Officer Pettis, is there anything else that the judge needs to be made aware of regarding this particular citation?
Actually, yes. So upon reviewing for this trial here, I did notice that on the citation I put that the speed limit was 20 miles per hour. And in fact, the speed limit on Forest Bluff, where the probable cause was observed, or the violation was observed, was actually 25 miles per hour. On citation, I listed 20 miles per hour.
Okay, and so that particular area there, you indicated that he turned off from one street to the other. Does that limit change in that area?
Yes, on Forest Pass, it jumps down to a 20 mile per hour zone.
So, in this particular case, even if the posted speed limit was 25 miles per hour, if you clock the defendant at going 34 miles per hour, would he still have been speeding?
Yes, he would have.
No additional questions for this witness, Your Honor. The state does pass the witness.
Mr. Wheeler, at this time, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Officer Pettis?
No, he's right about everything he said, and he did make an error of riding me on Forest Pass Port in a 20-mile-an-hour zone when I only just pulled over right away on that street at 15 miles an hour.
Okay. Do you have any questions of the officer, sir?
No, he corrected himself.
Okay. Ms. Trevino, do you have any other questions of Officer Pettis?
One quick question, Your Honor. Officer Pettis, are you aware that the city of Live Oak posts speed limit information on the city's website?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to check the code of ordinances prior to, or did you just check out the speed limit out there on Forest Bluff Court?
Yes. I went off of what was posted that day.
All right, thank you.
You have any other questions, Ms. Trevino?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Wheeler, do you have any other questions of this officer?
No.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Wheeler, at this time, if you would like to make a statement, you can. If you do make a statement, you're giving up your right to remain silent. and Ms. Trevino can ask you questions regarding your testimony. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you want to ask Officer Pettis any questions?
No, he corrected himself.
Okay. All right. I have a question just for clarification. Officer Pettis, did you clock him on Forest Bluff?
Yes, sir, on Forest Bluff.
Okay. So you didn't clock him on Forest Pass?
No, sir, not on Forest Pass.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from anybody?
Judge, I would just ask that you take judicial notice of the city's code of ordinances that indicates that all city streets are 20 miles per hour.
All right, so noted. Anything else from anybody?
No, Your Honor.
No,
Mr. Wheeler, anything, sir?
no.
All right. Based on the testimony, and Officer Pettis, I appreciate your candor. The complaint reads that the offense occurred on Forest Pass, not on Forest Bluff. That is not on you, Officer Pettis. That's just the way the complaint was written. So based on the fact that the location does not match up to the testimony, I'm going to find Mr. Wheeler not guilty. And Mr. Wheeler, you're discharged from any obligations owed to this court.
Yes, sir. Do I get a letter in writing, or is this it?
There will be a judgment issued by the court at some point in time, but for right now, you are discharged from any obligations to the court.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you may be excused from the meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day.
You do the same, sir.